And we have even more tips on renting right now. Joining us with all of those tips for renters is Crystal Chen with Zumper, the apartment finder service. And I know you were actually in our story too with those numbers on Chicago and the raising rent costs. So you did suggest actually calling around, and that's a lot better than just looking online. Why?
Absolutely. So I would suggest calling buildings to ask about any move-in specials. Some buildings have look and lease specials where if you look in apartment and sign within 24 hours, you can get a couple $100s off. And some companies own multiple buildings in the same city, and they could have differing specials depending on how long units have been sitting on the market or neighborhoods. So I would definitely call, and if you can't go in person, instead of just relying solely on listing information.
And we also talked about negotiating. I mean, negotiating can be a little bit harder if you're dealing with a corporate landlord or if you're calling some of these high rises. Their price may be their price. But do you have better luck, you think, if you're calling a private landlord, and can you really negotiate?
Yeah, I think private landlords probably have you'll have better luck in negotiating a deal with bigger buildings. Usually, you're negotiating with a property manager, and it's not their property, so they aren't allowed to go lower than what is listed. But some things you can do to try and get a secure place, you can offer to sign a longer lease if that's possible, to stand out amongst the competition. Property owners would rather you stay longer than not. And you can also offer some referrals in the future if you're looking at a big building, especially a newer building with a lot of units. Word of mouth definitely goes a long way, and property owners know that.
And I do like that tip to sign a longer lease. That's probably very helpful. So if you want to make that commitment and say, hey, I'll stay for 2 years or 3 years instead of 1 year, maybe you can get a better deal. Is there a good time of the year to look for rentals? What's the best time? I mean, if you're able to choose, it's probably popular now, but if you're able to choose, is there a better time?
So if you're able to wait until the winter months, that's the best time to secure a deal, because right now, during the summer months, is actually hot moving season, since a lot of leases and now. So there's a lot more competition, which creates a lot more demand, which pushes up prices. So if you can wait until the winter months, although there is less stock overall, there's also just a lot less competition. So landlords tend to price down their units to fill their units faster and before the holidays and vacation. So there's just a better time to look for rentals is in the winter.
Okay, so timing does matter. Okay, Crystal Chen from Zumper, thank you again for joining us tonight. Rob and Cheryl, it looks like there are ways to save on rent. It is hard, of course, if a landlord says this is the price and you really need that place to rent, you may feel like you're trapped, but it looks like there are some ways to save.
And the housing market right now is just so odd. It was a
is.
seller's market for so long.
Lines around the corner when people were trying to see the houses, and people are paying way over the market value just because they need to get in a home.
The Fed likely to raise interest rates again this week. Jason, goes along with what you were saying with those high interest rates.
Right. I mean, more may be available now because those interest rates went up. And of course, the spending hopefully is slowing down. But the problem is, if the interest rates are up, you're paying more every month.
If you're a first-time home buyer, it's priced. A lot of people got, as you mentioned, the young couples and families got priced out.
Right, and then rent to buy. If you buy a home, what other things come with buying a home versus rental. There's no taxes, and I mean, so you just have to weigh what is best for your family. But it's really great ideas and advice, Jason.
Yeah, hey, we'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yeah, see you back here tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about childcare, which is another challenge.
Yeah, that's expensive too.
Look forward to that, and we'll see you again at 4 tomorrow too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason.